Hey everybody out there. My name is Tommy and I'm giving another update. What's it like to work in a meat packing company? Man, it is ball busting work. I mean, just buckets of shredded chicken. The shredded chicken will come off the conveyor and go into these buckets, and then you gotta take these buckets and dump them on the table, and people scoop them up, and they'll put them on this machine, that seals them in a package and stuff. But yeah, it's ball busting work. God damn, it's ball busting work. And then I'm not saying anything racist or anything, but there's like 99% Mexican. 99, and these guys work hard. There's no doubt about it. These guys work hard. They can outwork me any day. Any day. Straighten my shirt out. But yeah, I just got home from work not too long ago. You'll never get the wrinkles out of it. I'm shrinking. That's what happens when you get old. You start to shrink. What am I... But yeah, no, it's a tough job. It's no doubt about it. It's you're dealing with raw. Kind of like, well, it is semi-cooked. I think it is semi-cooked. I don't know. It looks kind of cooked. And then you have to recook it when you get home and stuff. I assume, but yeah, no, that's fucking ball busting. Those guys, yeah, they, like I said, 99% Mexican. And gotta hand it to them. Ball busting work, man. They do it. A lot of these guys do it. I lost it today. I lost it. Because it's hard to work. In a place where a lot of the people don't really speak English, so there's a lot of pointing. They'll point like this, and they'll say like, "You go there." Okay, go there and go where? Do what? What? As you clean. Like, oh, okay, clean. But yeah, today was a rough day, cause that's all I did. I had to pick up these bins of chicken and dump them onto a table. They were shredded chicken, dump them onto a table, and they would scoop them up, weigh them out, and then put them in the package, the open end of the package, and then it would go down this machine and seal everything up and stuff. I did that. Like most of the day, And and you got to wear all this protective gear too, like rubber boots, like smock, plastic all over. You got to wear plastic over yourself, because a lot of this stuff will go into the water. It'll go into this hot, when it's prepackaged. What they'll do is they'll get prepackaged stuff, and they'll have to put it through hot water. And then they'll cut that open, and then they'll dump it out on this one conveyor, and it takes it to this machine, and then it'll, chops it all up, and then it goes down a conveyor belt into the bin, and then I lift the bin up, and when it gets full, and throw it on a table, and they scoop it up and weigh it out and stuff. So it was a long day, kind of. I don't know how long I could do it. I'm 58. I don't know how long I could do this. Gotta think about doing something else. I'm getting too old to, really labor. I can't keep up with them. I was like, well, I haven't even been there a whole week yet, so, I'm like, I can't keep up with this shit, But yeah, it is kind of rough, like I said, working in a place where no one really speaks English. It's a lot of pointing and, one word syllable things, this, you, this, You're like, oh, but hand it to them, goddamn, they work hard. I'm glad they didn't deport these motherfuckers, because, we definitely need them, doing that job, if they wanted to do that job, But yeah, I don't know how long I don't know how long I'm going to last. They're kind of throwing me around, different spots and stuff. So we'll see how tomorrow goes, But yeah, but I lost it, yeah, today. A guy was, it's almost, quitting time, and he starts pointing at me, and he's like pointing down, and I'm like, and I just lost it. I said, listen here, you motherfucker. And I screamed aloud, you know, speak, tell me what you want. And then I just looked at him and said, fuck it. And I walked away. So the whole place kind of heard me. You know, even though there's machines going, you can hear when someone starts yelling because it's a different sound altogether. So kind of lost it a little bit, you know. And then after that, I just went and worked over in a different area. And, then it was quitting time and got to go home. Got to go home. I was like, oh, man, you know. But, yeah, so far 2025 has been rough. You know, 2025. Whew. I'm going to keep looking for a different job because I'm a little too old to be laboring, you know. So, alright, everybody, I just wanted to give you an update on that. You know, what is it like to work in a meat packing company? You know, it's rough work, very rough. Lots of Mexicans that work there. God bless them. You know, they work very hard. Got nothing bad to say about the guys. You know, I just not being able to understand the language and stuff. You know, and I'm too old to learn Spanish. I don't want to learn Spanish. You know. But, yeah, God bless them. They work very hard. Not saying anything bad about them. You know. Me, I don't know if I could do that job anymore. You know. But I'm going to probably go in another day. Keep doing it a day at a time until either I just totally lose it or they fire me. You know. Either way, I got to do something else. I'm too old. Alright, everybody. That was my update, my little rant. You know. I'm beat. I will talk to you guys on the next one. Bye.